Right, hi all. I've just put out a video just to sort of catch up with what's going on. And I went through the video files, and I actually have a video file on the construction of the superstructure on the lifeboat. Um, Sorry, reach around to get this off the shelf. I did a video on the construction of the superstructure here um, because it was such a faff. Um, and I did a video shoot just to explain how I put this together. Um, so I think I might as well upload that. So here it is. Hi everyone, it's Bob from Greybeard Models. Welcome back to the channel. And before I go anywhere, big thank you to all my subscribers for looking in. Really good to see you guys. What I wanted to do was a quick catch up on the lifeboat, because I've had problems with it. It's been tricky though, and it's taken a bit of time. So without further ado, let's get over to the bench and have a look. Right, so we got the sort of hull together, and apart from some little touch-ups of paint, which seems to be a constant with this kit, doing one bit and then doing another bit, and then finally you've got to do a little bit of touch-up. But yeah, it's okay. It's sort of coming together, but it has been a bit of a challenge for me, this kit. I've got to put my hands up. It really has. So the next bit from this stage really is to assemble the actual cabin sides and roof and all that sort of stuff, to get the sort of the actual boat together. And what I was going to do was actually, you know, fit one bit, then another bit, then another bit, and all of that, and get it all sort of lined up. But I did that. Well, I didn't do it dry fitting all of that, and then found that it really didn't want to line up properly. So what I have done is something really bit radical, I think. But I've actually got all of the parts for the cabin, so the roof, the sides, the front, angular bits on the front. The instructions say to fit this part across the deck. Let's bring that back into, so this part across the deck, and then sort of bring everything to line up to it. But that actually proved to be really awkward, and nothing seemed to want to line up. So I thought the best thing to do was actually approach it from a slightly different sort of radical angle. So what I've done is, all of this masking tape is holding it together. It's nothing to do with paint masking. This is just assembly. So I've got all the parts in place roughly, and got them all sort of taped together. I mean, they're a bit loose. I haven't really got them tight, but I've got there. And I mean, this is the hardest thing, is you've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts together, and trying to get them all to line up, and, you know, get their edges to mate and all of that sort of thing, which is sort of like in that corner there, and that, you know, the top of that, the front of the cabin there, and all of that. So I've got all of that sort of pretty much lined up, and I thought what I'd do is I'd just put that on and sort of get it to dry fit. There are some points where it has got to line up, so there's steps at the back here, and then this front piece which goes across and lines up with this hatch. So getting all of those into sort of place, get everything to line up, and all of that sort of thing, which is what it's sort of done. This is like I say, this I'm finding really awkward. I don't mind a challenge. This is awkward. So what I'm thinking is I've got all of these generally in the right place, so, and everything sort of lining up, all of that sort of thing. So that's pretty good. I'm quite pleased with that. That sort of generally sort of lines up, and that lines up with that, and all of that. Bit of a faff though. It's a bit of a fiddle. So what I'm going to do, pull that back off because it's actually quite handy having that as one lump sum. So what I'm going to do is further ahead in the instructions, it refers to putting parts in certain areas here, and on the other side, in these sort of hatches. So I thought it actually would make sense to get those in place before we put the cabin on, and sort of restrict the access to these areas. So the next stage is to get all of those little greeblies in place. I think they're looking at the instructions. There's sort of like I don't know, pumps and things, and there's a rail there that has to go onto the side of the cabin. Well, that can wait until all of the cabins all put together and been glued together, and it is in place on the hull. So next part to do is do some more touching up of the paint and get all the little greeblies in the hatches here, and then we're going to go for it and sort of glue some of the key sections of the cabin. I'm calling it a cabin. I mean, I don't know if you guys know any different, but yeah, probably the superstructure, given the size of this. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so gradually sort of get these sort of stuck together, and held in place by the masking tape. I mean, I'll probably get through another few yards of masking tape before that's over, but we'll get that all in place, and then we can then sort of put that onto place. So I'm going to get on and do that, and I'll be back with you in a moment. So what I've done with this now is basically I've lined up all of the front sections here and got these all lined up and taped tight together, with a little bit of caution. So they've been glued, but when I've glued them, I've actually unpeeled the masking tape, applied the adhesive, then put them together and held them for a while, and then pulled the masking tape together. The risk is if you apply the adhesive while the masking tape is there, the adhesive, certainly with the extra thin, might bleed through, and a capillary action might occur, and it'll drag the adhesive through underneath the paint and affect the paint. So what I've done is just assembled this front section, so that's sort of locked in place, and I'll give that some time to set. So we'll leave that for an hour or two, and then we can push the cabin front into place, line everything up again, and do the same process, and that way hopefully we should get everything to line up and join together correctly. One of the things I noticed was when I put to get this together. When I put these, oh, not that one there. So when I put these parts together as a dry fit, so that one and that one, what I did notice was, I'll get that all lined up, was that the rear didn't sit properly. So what I'm going to do is basically get that all glued together, get that all glued together properly, with everything lined up, and then I'll put it onto here, and then any adjustments that need to be made to get the fit right, I can make with these parts, rather than trying to do something with that construction. So I'll get get everything in place, and then we'll see how that goes. It's very, very tricky. I'm actually curious. I know Airfix are going to re-release this kit, so I might, just thinking about it, I think I might just go and get another one and see if they've done anything different with the re-release. With the re-release, I hope they've added the extra part that was missing off of there. I've got the rear one. Let's bring that back into shot. I've got the rear one in place there. That's the one I actually scratch built, and then I've got the other one to go on to the front of this. But once everything is all in place and the cabin's in place and all of that, then I'll start on all the railings and all the other doodads. So yeah, so onwards and upwards, eh? So I have to do this in stages. So I've got the front section, that's pretty much fixed in place. As you can see, there's a little bit there where the paint probably got lifted by a bit of glue, but anyway, that'll need touching up. So the next stage is to get this front part of the cabin, or whatever it is, a superstructure, in place. So I've gone in underneath and glued from in there, and then got everything in place here, and got these edges together and pulled them tight with this new pieces of tape, and now I leave this to all set off. Give it about, well, it's with extra thin, and extra thin will probably go off within a couple of hours, so I'll leave that. It's now sort of 8 o'clock in the evening, so I'll leave that for a couple of hours, come back to it about 10 o'clock, and then we'll look at trying to get these sides together. This has gone together really well. I'm quite pleased with that. There are sort of very tiny little pieces within the joins, which be tidied up. I think they'll be fine. But yeah, this is tricky, but hey, you know, we can do it. So yeah, so on to the next bit, and I'll come back in a sec. Right, so I've left this, actually, I was going to leave it for a couple of hours, but in the end I've left it overnight, and a number of these joints, so that they've, hopefully, looking at it, hopefully they're all sort of in place. So now for the almost like the grand unveiling. I've got a pair of tweezers here. These are I'm not entirely sure where I got them from. It might have been Premium Hobbies, but they're for doing masking tape, and they don't stick to the masking tape, which is really good. So you can sort of peel masking tape off, and it doesn't stick to your tweezers. So like that, for example. Worth looking out for. Like I say, I think I got them from Premium Hobbies here in the UK. And what we do is we gradually, gently peel the tape off and reveal, hopefully, a number of secure joints. A little bit of tarnishing there, but that's well, you know, we're going to have to do some touch up on here anyway, which won't be much of a surprise, because the whole kit, wherever I've progressed, we've had to do some touch up. And I managed to get most of this all together, I think. Well, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do all this stuff rather than bore the pants off you watching me do it. But obviously there are areas like here that will need touch up and etc. So I'll get on with this and come back to you in a bit. Right, so got all the masking tape off, and now what I've done is ensured that these are all lined up on the edges of, or the ends of that part of the superstructure, clamped those in place, and now I've glued them in behind there, but getting shot I suppose. Yeah, so I've clamped those into place and then glued on the inside here, just so that should hold, and as you can see, clamp them up, and now going to leave that, and then can't really do a lot more until I've got all of that set and I can get it onto onto the hull properly. Now sometimes I recycle masking tape, depends really what I'm doing. If I'm doing sort of building and stuff and I'm going to need bits of masking tape just to hold things in place, I tend to reuse it. But if I'm masking to paint, I'll use fresh masking tape for the sake of a eighth of masking tape. But anyway, so that's that. So now there's not actually a lot more to do for the moment until that's oh, excuse me, clear my throat, until that's all done. So I think we'll probably leave it there for now, come back to the next part of the build, and we should, as far as I can tell, be putting the top half of the, you know, getting the superstructure onto the hull and getting the top half sorted out. So thanks for listening to me waffling on, and I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy. Bye for now.